Hello, it's Rachel. Today I'm discussing Kung Fu Season 3, Episode 7. So, I don't have a ton to say about this episode, so this will kind of be like a speed run through it. Um, because I want to talk about the final scene of the episode a little bit, because it feels like it was meant to be a mid-season cliffhanger. Which, I mean, I guess it kind of is since we have 2 weeks before the next episode. Um, but I don't have that much commentary on anything before that final scene. So, yeah, let's quickly go through the plot of the episode. So, Nikki is starting to get worried about Zhao's increasing strength, and she wants to separate her and Pei Ling. As Nikki and Jalan managed to take one of the Harvester's swords last week, Nikki gets the idea that since the sword reaped souls, maybe they can capture Zhao's soul in the sword, and then they will no longer have to worry about Pei Ling's safety. So as Nikki and Jalan want to put this into motion as quickly as possible, pretty much everyone aware of the situation meets in the library, and they start to determine a method of actually being able to capture Zhao's soul. Bo comes by offering to help, and Nikki agrees to let him in on this, wanting him to fully accept this aspect of her life. As the group starts preparing for possible dangers, they come to the conclusion that Pei Ling will have to unlock the cage that she has put Zhao in, and this prompts Jalan and Pei Ling to make up. It's a very nice scene, and while I wish they'd had more time to, air out some grievances, the scene does well enough to make up for what I felt was very lackluster of their reunion last week. But now that they've made up, it's time to put this plan into motion. Pei Ling enters a state of meditation to let Zhao free, and things very quickly go awry. So the plan was they had to charge the sword so it would be able to take the soul. So it was connected to some kind of power in the building. But then the power goes out, and we learn that this was purposefully done by Bo. We then have a tense game of trying to determine whose body Zhao has now jumped into. There's some fun science where Ryan tests everyone's blood because he determined that Zhao's blood in the Jusha causes a reaction. So after testing everyone's blood, it seems as if Zhao has jumped into Henry's body. But nope, she's in Sebastian's. There's some more tense interactions before Zhao corners Jalan and Pei Ling. And she has Jalan in a pretty vulnerable position, threatening to kill her if Pei Ling doesn't willingly become her host again. So Pei Ling is obviously ready to sacrifice herself for her sister, but Nikki and Henry arrive with a sword, and Nikki successfully traps Zhao's soul inside of it. It's a nice moment of relief for the team, and Nikki and Henry start discussing next steps. Bo manages to convince Nikki to give him the sword under the guise of safekeeping it from the Harvester. But as the audience knows, Bo is the Harvester. So as soon as he gets back to his apartment, he releases Zhao's soul. The episode then ends with Zhao attacking Mei Ling and Nikki quickly stepping in to fight her. Nikki does successfully overpower Zhao, but she can't bring herself to harm her, as that would mean harming Pei Ling. So Zhao quickly escapes the house. So, firstly, Olivia and Vanessa in that final scene were incredible. Just chef's kiss. Like I said in one of my previous reviews, Vanessa Kai has been outstanding this season. I need her to get an Emmy stat for her work on this show. Secondly, like I've also said in a previous review, I'm terrified that Nikki is going to have to kill Pei Ling to defeat Zhao, especially with this development and how it seems like Zhao is now in control. I just don't know if it's feasible or likely for her soul to get trapped in the sword again. And, if Pei Ling can even regain control. And I just think it's so unbelievably cruel to put Nikki in the position of having to kill her mentor when watching said mentor get murdered 2, 3 years ago. I'm not sure what the timeline is. When that was probably the most traumatic incident of her life. Like, what was the point of bringing Paling back and giving Nikki the chance to heal from that event if she's just gonna endure it again? Like, genuinely, please tell me what the point is. Other than torturing Nikki, I guess. Thirdly, I had a rant during one of my reviews last season about how the writers never let Nikki have a meaningful win. And it happens every season, and every time it pisses me off more. Like, every time Nikki seems to be making progress, it's immediately undone. Like, okay, season 1, she manages to get one of the weapons before Jalon does, and then Jalon takes it from her like 5 minutes later. And then, also season 1, she finds Simon before Jalon manages to get his weapon. And so we think, oh, Nikki's gonna get his weapon and save Simon. Nope, Jalon gets the weapon and kills Simon. Season 2, Nikki destroys the bell that Russell Tan wants to use to cause destruction. Nope, he's built a replica literally an episode later. And what's been the journey this season? Nikki reunites with Paling at the end of the premiere, and then it takes another episode to confirm that Zhao accompanied her out of the room. So Paling destroys the pendant, only to find that that did nothing when she has a chat with Mei Li. A couple episodes later, Nikki and Paling decide to do that exorcism, which momentarily stops Zhao from being able to do anything, so that's a small success. Then last week, Nikki manages to save Jalon and grab one of the Harvester's swords, so that's another small win. But both these wins were undone in this episode, so what movement have we actually made? Like, I guess the writers were worried about, like, being too similar to other media of this genre and, like, following the typical path of such media. But, like, this is such an overcorrection. Like, Nikki should have some wins that actually stick. Because, like I was saying last season, it just, it feels so implausible and ridiculous when she wins, like, the final battle after losing every small battle. And, like, hell, technically Nikki didn't even win the final battle last season. Jalon did, because Jalon is the one who killed Russell and sacrificed herself. Like, Nikki did very little in that fight. Like, it's so annoying that, like, it feels like Nikki, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's stuff that happens on, like, an interpersonal level. But, like, in the scheme of the season-long story arc, it feels like Nikki never gets anywhere until the finale. And it's very irritating. Like, if the show does get a season 4, which, given all the cancellations the CW has done this year, is very up in the air. If there is a season 4 and this is still an issue next season, I'm, like, literally gonna lose my mind. Like, at this point, it's repetitive because you've done the same thing each season of not letting her have any wins. So, please, please stop doing this. So yeah, as I said to start this, I didn't have much in terms of commentary. Sorry if the video felt a little bit dry because of that. But if anybody has any thoughts on the episode, feel free to leave a comment, because I'd love to hear them. And obviously I could continue chatting more about it. There's no episode next week because, Thanksgiving and America just loves to celebrate colonizers. So I guess I'll catch you guys in 2 weeks for episode 8 then. Bye.